Everybody welcome Miss Cristy Rodriguez
All right.
to the stage. Come on in. Cristy is our guest for today. Cristy Rodriguez is the director of Emma Bowen's, and I'm gonna have her speak a little bit more about that. But before we begin, let me get my notes over here real quick. Okay, so we're gonna have a kiki. We're gonna have a little discussion. Yes, you like that? We have a little discussion, so you have your mic. Okay, so thank you, Nurkis, and thank you for the staff for putting this together. I am Connie Pacheco. I'll be your host, and we have our beautiful guest today, Cristy Rodriguez, who is so kind enough to do this for us. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, in case you guys didn't know. So we want to shine a light on some of those issues and situations, and hopefully you'll walk away with some information, and not only for you, but also for your clients as well. So a little statistics. And I don't know if you know this, but 1 in 5 adults in the United States experiences mental illness each year. And for those of us in recovery or working in the helping profession, mental health challenges can feel even more complex. In fact, nearly 50% of the people living with substance use disorders are also struggling with co-occurring mental health conditions. And that's why the conversation today definitely matters. We want to highlight that. We'll explore what mental health really means, why breaking the stigma is so critical, and how we can all take steps towards wellness, whether it's for ourselves or for those we care about or we service. So again, I'm honored to welcome our guest who brings deep insights and lived experience to this conversation. So let's take a deep breath. Let's inhale, exhale, and let's have an honest, empowering discussion about mental health, because we all deserve to heal, grow, and thrive. So that being said, a little something else that I have for you guys. So some of you guys have done the training with us here. We do the mental health first aid training, and this information was on one of those trainings. And when I saw that, I said, "Oh wow, that's very interesting." So they compared mental health versus physical illness, and I'll read this to you. Severe depression is compared to a person who is a quadriplegia. And research indicates that the disability resulting from severe depression is comparable to that of quadriplegia. Am I saying that right? Am I saying that word right? And you guys know what that is, right? Being completely wheelchair bound. So this comparison underscores the significant functional impairment and disruption to daily life caused by severe depression. And that is when a person is in the throes of severe depression. Moderate depression is comparable with chronic physical conditions, such as similar to experiencing multiple sclerosis, severe asthma, or chronic hepatitis B. Depression and increased risk of physical illness. Depression has been linked to 50% increase in the risk of dying from cancer and 67% increase in the risk of dying from heart disease. So this highlights how mental health conditions can significantly impact physical health outcomes. So I am not going to, but I did wanted to highlight mental illness are more prevalent than cancer, diabetes, or heart disease. And so as of 2021, over 22% of Americans, adults, meet the criteria for having a mental illness. So the population that we service, the population that, there's a very high probability that you're working with individuals who may have a substance use disorder, but also a mental health situation as well. So, hi, Cristy. Hi. So, tell us a little bit about your personal and professional journey with mental health. And is he okay? Somebody help him out. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, Christy, sorry about that. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal and professional journey with mental health?
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I grew up in a single family, single mother household. I was the first person in my family to go to college, right, and graduate, and then move on and get my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. But it wasn't always easy, right? My mother was struggling. She had boyfriends in and out of the house. One was an alcoholic. While we were in high school, then she was dating another guy who, was smoking crack. So we got to experience like, our things going missing and summers without electricity, right, and all these things. And I think for myself to get away from everything, I was like, I need to go to school, right? That's my only way to get out of this house. So
Right.
I loved going to school, and then outside of school, I had to deal with a lot of things, right? I used to hang out with gang members, and I was smoking weed at 12, and that was like the lifestyle. And I said, you know what? No, I got to get out of here. So that's when I graduated high school, and I was like, I'm gonna go to college, and I did it, and I think I was very proud of myself for like getting through that, right? With no guidance, right? Nobody in my family knew how to manage like college applications and doing all these things. But yeah, my mother also suffered from depression, anxiety, which and then it also affected us as the kids, right? It was me, myself, and my older brother, and I had a younger sister. And yeah, so it really like impacted me, and I was like, you know what? I want to help other people. I want to show people that it's possible to move forward and have what you want in life, right? My mother always used to tell me, like, I have one chair and one table here, but I want to make sure that when you grow
Mm.
older, you don't end up like I did. And so, that was really important for me. And even to this day, right, I suffer from like anxiety and depression, but I work through it because, you just you have to wake up every day and just get through it. And it's not that easy.
Right. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. So I guess my next question was going to be that, what inspired you? And you said that,
Oh, yes.
what inspired you to become a mental health advocate? What is one of the most important lessons that you have learned about mental health and the work that you do?
I think I see how like stigma really affects not only the people that come to receive treatment, but those that are like providing the services, right? So just always remembering like, it's possible to get through what you're going through. I don't know if that answered like your
Yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, right?
You see, even
Resilience,
sitting here, I get a little
persistence.
anxious, but you gotta get
Yeah,
through
but we're here. We were talking backstage about that, and one of the things that you just reminded me of in the Spanish culture, anxiety is very often referred to ataque de nervios. You guys ever heard of that? Yeah, my mom was always with the ataque de nervios, and if you translate that in English, is the attack of the nerves. We used to say, well, my mom is having her nerves are being, they're attacking her.
it.
What does that mean, right? Un ataque de nervio. And that's basically anxiety. That's
Yes.
what she was saying. I'm anxious, leave me alone. You kids are driving me insane, right?
Right. And then like
But
talking about therapy is like, whoa, no, I don't need therapy. I'm not crazy. And it's like, wait a minute, we all need to have somebody to talk to, right? And I think that's a huge stigma, right? Like therapy is like, oh, you're crazy. No, everybody needs that one person where you can go to for 45 minutes, lay it all out there, and then walk out the door and keep it moving, And I think that's a huge to get the participants that we provide services to understand and ourselves, right? Just a reminder, like it's okay for you to continue, your
that's right.
therapy and your recovery process.
That's right. That's right. So stigmatized, the word therapy. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. So, and I think you answered this, when we talked about defining mental wellness. I think we spoke about that backstage.
Mhm.
How do you define mental wellness, not in your life, but also in the work that you do at Emma Bowen?
How do I define mental illness?
Mental wellness.
Mental wellness.
Yeah.
Yeah, self care, right? Not being afraid to say I need help or I don't understand this, right? Sometimes we get in our own like head and like, people don't want to ask questions because they might feel like, oh, this person's gonna look at me. I think just always making sure that you're okay, right? So going to therapy, doing your mindfulness, physical activity, that's so important, like the gym or even like taking walks, Yeah, taking time off. I encourage like the counselors and the peers to take one mental health day a month. Right? I'm okay with it. Don't tell me, yeah, I'm feeling sick. No, let me know. Like, listen, I need a day, and that's fine because if you're not good, then you're not good for anybody else. And that's something that we tend to lose track of, right? Because there's a lot of paperwork, and you got to meet certain, quota for the day, and it's like a lot of stuff, and you're just every day is like the same thing, but you don't stop to really think about me.
That's right. That's right. Mental wellness. That's right. Okay, and then I think that here at Recoveries R Us, we even have a little in the lounge there. We have like a little sofa thingy where you can just go and lay down in the middle of the day if you're feeling any certain kind of way. Just go and lay down. Sometimes, just like babies, sometimes you just need to take a nap,
Yeah.
right? You just need like a 5 minute, reset button, right? And that helps. I should put one of those in my office too, so I can take a little break.
Yeah, and time management, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know, like
Exactly.
those little screaming boots.
Pickleball playing or happy every day. That was some downtime.
Yeah. So we talked about stigma and how stigma still exists today. It is very stigmatized, not just the word therapy, but seeking services, having a mental health, like a mental health situation or issue or diagnosis. Like we don't want no one to know. I don't want you to know that I have a mental health diagnosis because then you're going to stigmatize me. And so tell me a little bit about how you deal with that in your workplace.
Yeah, so like I could definitely say that as well. So I'm the director of the outpatient program for substance use treatment, and all the staff that we onboard, we make sure that this is something and somewhere that they really want to be, right? Because when anybody walks through our doors, is how can I help you?
Mm.
Right? You have to make everybody feel welcomed and loved and cared for. And one thing, like a lot of people, when they come to our program, they say, I've been through all these programs and I've never felt seen the way I have here. And it's so important to let people feel seen and heard.
Oh, I like that. I really do. We do that here too, guys, right?
Yeah, it's
We want
it's
to
so
make sure
important, right? Because you think about it, I think about, all right, if I'm going somewhere to look for services, what am I looking for?
Mm,
Right? And that's what we make
right.
sure to do. Just
Mm-hmm.
how can I help you, right? And then we have a whole team, and the peers on site are amazing, right? Because the counselors are there, the peer, and we just all work together for that one, goal.
Yeah. By the way, a lot of the peers come from Recoveries or Us.
I know, yes.
So yeah, stigma is hard. I mean, people get stigmatized for